What's up, geeks and gamers? Welcome to the daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, decadely, whatever
Biannual.
show. Yeah, there you go. It is Geeks and Gamers Daily, where we talk about all the pop culture news going on. And I'm joined always by Ryan Kennel from RK Outpost, who's the happiest man on the internet every day, all day. Undeniable.
Yeah, typically, smiling hurts, so I don't do it. That's usually my method. But yeah, there's a couple interesting things going on today. Not very long after we got off stream yesterday. I was gonna say last week because you said weekly stream, but we had some breaking news out of Marvel that might explain maybe some of these delays that are going on. Victoria Alonso, big gay Victoria Alonso out at Marvel Studios, which is pretty funny. So we might get into that and go over some of her greatest hits collection to honor her now that she's gone. And
I'm loving it. I'm loving the chaos at Marvel right now.
It's Disney overall, because we got another Disney Star Wars disaster to talk about today.
And it's just wokeness is a disease, and it will ruin every single thing. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, it seems to me like when it comes to Disney Star Wars, the rule now, if something can go wrong, it will. If there's something that gets announced, it will likely be fucked up. If there's something that's going right, it will likely go wrong. Like, that's just what we've seen, even with their flag show ship, The Mandalorian. Here we are in season 3, and the ratings are in decline, despite there being so many more Disney Plus subscribers. So just what we've come to know with over a decade of Disney Lucasfilm.
Yeah, absolutely. And between that, we've got a Little Mermaid story to talk about today. Everything is, again, it's starting to sound like a broken record, but it's just the truth. I mean, everything is falling apart in the entertainment world with these focused properties that are centered around nerd culture, because they've all been ruined, generally speaking, by identity politics. And that's not going to change as long as you have activists involved with these projects. It's just not going to happen. There's Ruin Leon. Brian's ugly ass wall is better than Disney's Little Mermaid. That's a pretty high praise right there. It's pretty high praise considering this movie has been ratioed worse than any film we have seen, maybe ever. Is it the worst ratio we've ever seen consistently?
I don't know. Like, I for this type of big release, I think so. I think you have to say that's true. I'm sure there's been stuff that was worse. Like, I mean, look at the ratio. Now, it wasn't a movie, but look at the ratio on something like Santa Inc., right? Like, that was like a 3% like ratio or something insane like that. So we've seen worse ratios, but when you look at the Disney Little Mermaid race swap trailers, and I mean, the first one was 3.5 million dislikes to 1.2 likes. So you're talking about, 1 out of every 4 people liked it. It gets worse. It gets like 1 out of 10 with some of these later trailers. So it's pretty bad for them. I don't think for something as high profile as that, I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like that before.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, we're going to get into a few of these topics. And yes, I did have 4 streams yesterday, and yet here we are. Had this stream yesterday, then had Mario Kart, then Cobra Cast, and then we ended the night with Fortnite. So we're back. We're ready to rock and roll. We got Tuesday night's main event tonight, and it's going to be a great day. So let's get this party started. Ryan, what do we got first?
We may as well start it off with the news that broke yesterday, right after we went off air. That, I mean, at this point, it's been almost 24 hours, which basically means it's old news. But we have to talk about Victoria Alonso out at Marvel Studios.
You'll love to see it.
This did come as a surprise because Victoria Alonso is someone who's been with Marvel, been with the MCU for a decade and a half more. 2005 was when she started working with Marvel. So she was there for Iron Man, like the first MCU movie. She's been there forever, and she's slowly gained more and more power. And this is someone who is a woke activist, undoubtedly is a woke activist. I don't necessarily think that's why she was fired. I think that's what we can focus on. And it's funny that this is happening to somebody who's been so outspoken. I think probably the reason that she was fired has much more to do with what she's in charge of. And you know what Victoria Alonso is actually in charge of at Marvel, Jeremy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Shout out to that Ant-Man movie with those VFX VFFX, however the fuck, I can't even talk right now. I'm tired. Visual effects. And the visual effects were heavily criticized in this film, which I have not seen because I don't give a single damn about Marvel. But yeah, that's been a major criticism they've been facing, especially coming off of this film in particular. But not only just this film, I think this is the one that it really got highlighted. It's been a problem they've been facing for a while.
Yeah, like Thor Love and Thunder, I think was the one that may have got trashed like worse than maybe any other. But when you look at all of them, She-Hulk, remember how bad the effects were on She-Hulk, how it looked like a PlayStation 3 cutscene at times? The visual effects stuff has been a massive problem for Marvel Studios. And for the past year, you've had the stories of these VFX artists saying we're no longer going to work for Marvel. They're boycotting Marvel work, saying how overworked and underpaid they are, how they don't get enough time to do these things. They have to cut corners. And that's why these things end up looking like shit. And Victoria Alonso, since 2021, has been president of physical and post-production visual effects and animated production. Like, that is her responsibility. At some point, something had to fall. Someone had to take some blame for what's going on. And it looks like this person is Victoria Alonso. Now, let's not forget how willing she's been to speak out about things. I'm sure you remember this comment, Jeremy, about the X-Men. Let's listen here.
The cutting room floor.
That's a little pass. I think I got to find the X-Men clip. Here we go. This fucking guy.
Phenomenal.
So you guys have a lot of toys to play with now in the future, including the X-Men, right?
Yes.
Could you, of course you can't tell me much, but can you give me a little hint of what the future is coming? Where is the future going and the excitement?
I don't know where the future is going. It's funny that people call it the X-Men. There's a lot of female superheroes in that X-Men group, so I think it's outdated.
That's Victoria Alonso. It's funny that they call it the X-Men. There's a lot of female superheroes in that group, so I think it's a little outdated. Well, I hope your resume isn't outdated, Victoria Alonso, because you're going to be looking for a fucking job now. This is the same person who went up on the gay awards, the GLAAD Awards, and called out Bob Chapek at the time for Disney not taking a harder stance against the Parental Rights and Education bill, known by retarded people as the Don't Say Gay bill. So this is someone who is very outspoken about their woke agenda, and now they're no longer at Marvel.
Yes, and I think it's a very level-headed take to say she wasn't necessarily they didn't get rid of her because of her wokeness. Because if that was the case, then they would be firing every single person affiliated with Disney, not just Marvel, but Disney at this point. So I don't think that is the case at all. But it is interesting. Is it something to be overly excited about? I don't think so. Is it something we should laugh at her for? Yes. Make fun of her? Yes. Shame her? Yes, 100%. But I don't think that it has any big significant impact on current Marvel and going, oh, the direction is changing. I don't think that's the case at all. But it is good that she's gone, especially after her comments about X-Men and how she treated other situations. So yeah, another woke loser loses their job. She wasn't good at her job. She was never good at her job. She was elevated basically with the Hollywood you fail upwards mentality, and that's exactly what she did. But now she's out. Dude, I can't believe now again, we haven't gotten confirmed that she was fired, right?
Just says she exits Marvel Studios.
Right. So to me,
like, it seems that way to me.
To me, she was fired, but they're not going to publicly say it because they don't want to be Me Too'd. That's essentially what it feels like to me. They don't want to piss off some crazy old hag that can Me Too them or accuse them of inappropriate, language or behavior or something like that. I just can't understand for the life of me why the hell you as a corporation or a company would hire any psychopath that focuses on identity politics and Me Too bullshit. How can you possibly justify this? Because at the moment you bring someone in like that, you become a prisoner to them. You have to walk on eggshells with them. You have to be terrified because the accusation is all that matters. The truth is irrelevant. Once the accusation is made, that's the most damning part of it right there with how the media treats all these situations. So I don't know why you would hire a person like that. I'm glad we've heard recent reports of how a lot of companies, when you have pronouns in your bio, they tend to they send just to dismiss your application. But that's really not the overall truth. I said, I went to a Target a few months ago here in Florida. The fucking weirdo had pronouns on their name tag. You know, like it's
There's
out there. It's
weirdos
a thing.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So
There's weirdos everywhere. And, you know, when you look at someone like Victoria Alonso, she probably wasn't too super outspoken when she started in 2005 with Marvel, because that wasn't necessarily like the focus of all this stuff. That wasn't as acceptable as it is nowadays to just spew this garbage. And, you know, as she gained more power and, you know, gained more authority within, you know, Marvel Studios, she probably was more willing to be outspoken about that. Now I guess she's just going to be talking to her cats and her fucking gay wife. So
yeah. Hey, and that's that's exactly where she needs to be. By the way, Ruthie is dropping links to our Meta PC page. So if you guys have not checked out our landing page, please consider going and doing that right now. Really cool stuff. And the graphics card is there now. So again, that's just an overlay, but that is
graphics
super
card
cool.
backplate. Yeah.
Backplate. Yeah. So I'm really excited about this. So you guys go check it out. Mods will be continuing to drop links. They'll be all in the description. So if you're interested in a PC, go over to Meta PCs. Geeks is the code. GEEKS. Promo code Geeks.
Yep.
All right.
What do we got next? And if you already ordered, and if you did already order one, if you're one of the people that ordered them already, if you just contact Meta PCs and let them know about the backplate and that you want it, I'm sure they can work something out with you. So just so you know.
Yep. Thank you. There we go.
Nice. It is a nice backside. Mage Demon for $5 says head, shoulders, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes. Let's enjoy Ryan singing. Well, see you later. Let's go Bama. Thank you.
I like how you paused. Just is like, where's this going? Hang on.
Well, I just didn't want to actually give him the clip of me singing. But one Disney disaster to another, we have to talk about, once again, Star Wars. Star Wars continues to be a hot mess. If something can go wrong with Disney Star Wars, it will go wrong with Disney Star Wars. It's what we've seen for over a decade at Lucasfilm. And now, after we haven't had a Star Wars movie in theaters since the end of 2019, aren't projected to have one until 2025. How embarrassing for Disney. They're set to reveal their secret movie project. They're set to reveal it at Celebration, and Damon Lindelof was the one writing this. Now, a couple days ago, Damon Lindelof got asked about, Star Wars, and he gave a very cagey response and was kind of like, the more I look at it, if I can't do it great, then maybe I shouldn't be doing it at all. And that's really all I can say at this point. Well, then we get this report. Damon Lindelof exits 2025 Star Wars film. New writers taking his place. Charmin Obaid-Chinoy remains attached as director. So yes, just a couple weeks before Star Wars Celebration, and only a couple months after this was officially announced that Damon Lindelof would be writing a Star Wars movie, he's not writing anymore. He's gone. Just like so many of these things we've seen before, whether it's a Kevin Feige movie, whether it's a Patty Jenkins movie, whether it's a D&D movie, whether it's a Rian Johnson trilogy, whether Lord and Miller get replaced. Like, how many times will we see this with Disney Star Wars? How many movies have been canceled? How many movies have been shelved? How many movies have been shuffled up just in the past couple years? This is pathetic. And it is just, I wish I could say I was surprised. I guess I'm not, but I don't think Damon Lindelof should be working on a Star Wars movie. This guy's been associated with some massive train wrecks, including that terrible Watchmen TV series on HBO. But nevertheless, he is one of these guys in Hollywood that just keeps getting jobs despite failing, and they can't even keep him on board. What do you think about this?
Well, I'm okay with Lindelof in a lot of cases, but also I think he's terrible. Like he's super hit or miss for me. Super hit or miss. He's done some things I really enjoy, and he's done some things I think are really terrible. That's neither here nor there. This is about Kathleen Kennedy's horrific leadership. I have been talking about this since 2018. She cannot maintain her talent. She can't hire the right people. They just keep announcing projects on top of projects on top of projects, and it never sees the light of day. I have never seen such a disastrous leadership example as we have seen from Lucasfilm. She is a terrible leader. This is a fact. There's nothing you can do to dispute that. She is horrible. Bob Iger, who I'm not the biggest fan of either, he's had to come in over the years And he's had to take the leadership role for Disney Star Wars disaster. The reason this company and this brand is in the shape it's in is because you hired a woman, because she's a woman, because she's basically used other successful men to elevate her resume. She knows where all the bodies are buried. She's a glorified secretary. And now you've elevated her to run the most important IP in the history of Hollywood. And look where it's at only a few years later. It is irrelevant. It's terrible. Every project they announce, not a movie, 2 trilogies got canceled. Never even saw pre-production, I don't think. Did Ryan Johnson never even saw pre-production, correct, Ryan?
No. I don't think so.
Not even pre-production. You hired Benioff and Weiss, coming off the biggest disaster we've ever seen in television show history, to do not a movie. We're talking about a trilogy. And that trilogy never happened. 2 trilogies never even saw pre-production. Project after project after project. Solo lost money, got reportedly 80 to 90% done before Kathleen Kennedy decided, hey, I don't like the direction this is going. Let's axe the whole movie. And then let me bring Opie in so he can fix it, apparently, doubling the budget. The movie lost money, the first Star Wars movie to ever lose money. You had the sequel trilogy lost 50% of its audience from The Force Awakens to The Rise of Skywalker. We haven't seen a film yet since that moment. Mandalorian started out strong. Now it's tapering off. It's so bad right now. And this is all because of bad leadership, because you virtue signaled and you wanted to hire a woman who talks about the Force as female, a woman who has alienated the entire audience. And here you are in this position where yet another person that was attached, regardless of what you think of that person, it reflects right on Kathleen Kennedy. I'm so sick of this fucking bitch.
Yeah, and here's the official story. And again, this is from Jeff Schneider, who's broken a couple stories that have proven to be absolutely correct in the past couple of years, and everyone's treating this like it's accurate too, especially with Lindelof's comments. Lindelof and Britt Gibson turned in a draft of their script in mid-February and parted ways with the project just days later, according to sources. Lucasfilm already has a new writer on board, although they were unable to ascertain their identity. Production slated to start February of 2024, ahead of the film's planned release date, December 19th, 2025. Plot details remain unaroused, but the top secret project is going to be unveiled at Star Wars Celebration next month, along with its title and brief synopsis. And if you don't know who the director is, of course, it's a director who has, worked on Miss Marvel. So, it's going to be incredible. But this was the quote from Lindelof just a few days ago when asked about Star Wars. I'll just say, for reasons that I can't get into this Sunday morning, on this day, the degree of difficulty is extremely, extremely high. If it can't be great, it shouldn't exist. That's all I'll say, because I have the same association with it as you do, which is it's the first movie I saw sitting in my dad's lap, 4 years old, May of 77. I think it's possible that sometimes when you hold something in such high reverence and esteem, you start to get in the kitchen and you go, maybe I shouldn't be cooking. Maybe I should just be eating. We'll just leave it at that. So those comments that he's very hesitant, but he can't officially say anything, that pretty much goes out and tells you this is an accurate report. This is real. This is accurate. And what else can you expect from Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm? It's not like Disney won't fire female executives, won't let female executives go. We just saw that with Victoria Alonso, didn't we? So, Hey, Kathleen Kennedy still there after all these years.
KK knows all the dirt. She knows all the dirt. She's married to Frank Marshall. She's obviously connected to Spielberg, to Lucas. She knows every powerful person in Hollywood. She knows all the dirt. There's reasons why that she's never going to get fired. I don't even think they're going to push her out. She's going to leave whenever she wants to leave. That's just a bottom line. Again, talking to someone who covered the potential firing of Kathleen Kennedy years ago, I believed it. I said, there's no way Star Wars can do what it's doing. There's no way it can be ruined this bad and this person keep their job, because, back then I actually thought that people were held accountable for the job that they did in Hollywood, but that's clearly not the case. So at this point in time, she leaves when she wants to leave. What does that tell me? That tells me not only not only is Star Wars dead right now, but it tells me it's dead forever in my eyes, because you've essentially decided that this woman can kill off this franchise that people have known and loved for 40 years, and you don't care. And she's just going to run it in the ground as long as she wants because of identity politics, or the fact that those that preach the loudest have the most to hide. So all of you weirdos in Hollywood have so much to hide, even though you virtue signal all day long. And so, so even if she leaves in a year from now, and she leaves on her own terms or whatever, you've shown the fans that you don't actually care for this property. And so I have no interest in ever going back to Star Wars. Star Wars is dead forever in my eyes.
Yeah, and we're witnessing a lot of people, wanted to think that Dave and John were fighting against her and all this stuff. Like we've seen in every season of The Mandalorian, it's very specifically this season of The Mandalorian, they're connecting right to the sequel trilogy. They've stated it for 4 years now that this is their plan to connect from the OT all the way through to the sequel trilogy, mix in things from the prequels and Clone Wars and everything. That's what they're doing. That's what they're setting up. That's what they've been doing. Kathleen Kennedy's like 70 years old. She's been doing this job for 11 years. At some point, she's going to want to step away. When will that be? I think a lot of us have thought after Indiana Jones would probably be the time that happens, because that seems to be the thing she cares about more than anything else, is the Indiana Jones stuff. So we'll see. I think after Dial of Destiny comes out, at some point in the next couple months, we might see her say, I'm kind of done, I'm ready to leave. And somebody else will take her place and nothing will change.
Nope.
So
It's done. It's over. The magic of Star Wars is done. I talked about this a few weeks ago, but I think Steph Minority Home had Revenge. No, she had Attack of the Clones on here at G&G HQ, and I was just like, I've never been the biggest Attack of the Clones fan. I mean, I like the movie, I appreciate it, but I know it's not a good movie. And you just watch it, and it's like it's magic compared to where we're at. It's magic, and there's something magical about George Lucas's Star Wars, and I don't expect that to be recreated by any other person. I don't. And I understand that, and I recognize that. But when you actively take George Lucas's sequel trilogy outline and throw it away, that says everything you need to know about where they are and where they wanted to go. And the intent was to never honor George or his creation. The intent was to hijack something that was popular and successful and interject your feminist propaganda bullshit into it. And that's exactly what they've done.
Yeah. I did want to address something real quick. James Tyler, who's spamming in the chat. Jeremy and Ryan are no different than Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo. Listen, neither of us are black or gay. All right. So there is a difference.
There is that.
There is a difference.
There is that.
Right. But thank you for being here, James Tyler.
I am black. I'm black from the waist down, though. So he kind of, I don't know, And we both do enjoy the state of Florida, which so does Don Lemon.
That's true.
He's a big fan of it. I mean, not due to his reporting.
Not publicly.
Not publicly. So,
all right. Mage Demon with a bunch of super chats for $5 says, "It's raining men. Hallelujah. It's raining men. I'm Ryan, still gay. Thank you." Mage Demon for 10. Nah, just messing with you. Love this stream. And then Mage Demon becomes a channel member. And then he says, "Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm," that was all he got for $2. Callum for 5. "I think people are better off embracing Star Wars Legends now. Also, I hope a transgender will play Abby because it'll prove what Neil Cuckman likes." Yeah, we'll see. We'll see who plays Abby. Maybe it'll be that chick from Mandalorian. Callum for another 2. "Are you going to do a live stream of Resident Evil 4 remake?" People are saying that that's fucking fire. Like, I've heard such great things about it.
Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. And so I'm really looking forward to this. I know that we're definitely going to be covering it on either Geeks Gamers Play or our Twitch channel for sure. Beardo's going to be playing the game and giving a review for it and giving some feedback on it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to get it. Right now, I have so much on my plate. So I can definitely set Fortnite aside, though, for Resident Evil 4. But I'm hearing fantastic things about this Resident Evil 4 remake. So I'm excited. Yeah,
I think that there's some good gaming stuff. Obviously Hogwarts Legacy. I think it's fucking awesome. And I'm sad that I haven't had an opportunity to play more of it. But it has really got me back into Harry Potter stuff, which is funny. But between that, Resident Evil 4 remake looks really good. The Diablo 4 beta, people are raving about the Diablo 4 beta as well. Not at the same level of the Resident Evil 4 remake, but considering it's Blizzard and considering all the negativity that surrounded Blizzard the past couple of years, people were pleasantly surprised with the Diablo 4 beta. And it's been a long time since Diablo 3. When was that released? 2011 or something.
I can't remember.
People
But
are
I
looking
have
for a
heard-
Diablo game that you don't play on your phone. So
Yes.
yeah,
Don't you guys have phones? Don't you guys have phones?
exactly. So we'll see what happens with that. Gremlin Anku for $20. Kennedy's just Iger's dominatrix. Come on, guys. Cut her some slack. Well, maybe that's true. I want to talk about Little Mermaid, which is Jeremy's favorite movie.
My favorite movie of all time, and not the toxic version that you all know and love. The Little Mermaid, the 2023 release, the corrected version is already my favorite movie. I haven't seen it yet, but it's already my favorite movie because it shows you that little black children can do anything, and we've never ever had that moment before. This is the first time in history that black people will know that they can become mermaids as well. And that is special. That means a lot to me. And my white privilege lets me know that I have to recognize that black people need to be mermaids too. And so this is a big moment for me, guys. So I might get emotional through this story. So just work with me, okay? Sorry, Ryan. It's tough. It's tough.
That's right. Well, unfortunately for you, Jeremy, your movie that you're looking forward to has been ratioed in a big way. 1.3 million dislikes to 250,000 likes right there. And of course, we've seen the comment section. It's getting absolutely annihilated. I can't believe they're leaving this one on. They restricted the last two comment sections for these trailers, but they're leaving this one open. Very stunning and brave for Disney to do. But as we lead up to this movie, we've seen a lot of the conversations around it. We've seen people say, if you don't like this, you're just racist. Well, one thing we've also heard is from the star herself, Halle Bailey, who stars as race-swapped Ariel in this movie. She has some things to say, despite claiming that The Little Mermaid was her favorite Disney movie, despite claiming that she actually saw herself before having to revert and say, oh, I could never see myself until I was Black Ariel. She said that this was her favorite movie growing up. Well, now she's saying that they're getting ready to fix it. Halle Bailey says her Ariel will be more nuanced than the original. She won't just, quote, leave the ocean for a boy. And, for someone whose favorite movie was The Little Mermaid, maybe she didn't remember the part where before Ariel even knew anything about Prince Eric, she was talking about going up. She was talking about exploring. She was talking about being a part of that world and everything like that. Well, she has some things to say. She's glad that Disney is fixing The Little Mermaid. Halle Bailey says her version of Ariel is more nuanced than the original Little Mermaid. And it all comes from this article right here. She gets asked in a very interesting way about this. The first time Bailey ever watched Little Mermaid was around age 5. Ariel was her absolute favorite princess. Well, now it's more a favorite because she's Black. And since its initial release in 1989, Disney has weathered persistent criticism about the movie's sexism. Do you remember this, Jeremy? You're fucking old as shit. Do you remember this movie being constantly bashed as being sexist?
No, this movie really did have a pretty big impact, positive impact on people and culture and children and families. The only negative thing I remember is the big dick on the cover of the VHS movie. You know what I mean? But no, that none of that was happening. Well, isn't this the same argument we heard Star Wars that when like The Last Jedi came out and like they kept saying like The Empire Strikes Back faced so much hatred, and like this is what they do. It's revisionist history. They just change shit. They just make shit up. And this is another example of this. How can you be a big fan of the property if you never saw yourself in it? because now you're claiming that the only way that you can connect to said property is if you see yourself in it. But then you claim you were part of, you're a big fan of it. Which is it? You can't have both. We saw the same thing with the Eternals when you had these nonsensical weirdos on the red carpet about how much they loved Marvel and how much they've been such a big fan of Marvel comics over the years. And now for the first time, I can see myself and be able to connect with this universe. Like, what? It's like that Lord of the Rings clown the other day on Twitter or TikTok.
Oh, that
where he
guy
was talking
crying.
yeah, that guy crying over Black Aragorn. And he said how big of a fan he was of Lord of the Rings, but now he can finally identify with this. It's such bullshit. No normal thinking person thinks like this. No one. Not one single person. I've talked about this time and time and time again. All of you live in the real world. All of us live in the real world. I worked retail forever and a day. At no point in time did I ever go to the break room on lunch or my break and have a conversation with someone about a movie coming out or a video game coming out. And the first thing the person said was, I need to see the racial breakdown and the diversity first before I decide if I'm going to go see the movie. That conversation never fucking happened. You're in the military, Ryan. Was that a big conversation piece around you and your boys? Hey, guys, this movie's coming out. Well, we need to see the racial breakdown. Nobody thinks like this. No fucking body has ever talked like this in the real world, period. So when you have losers like this spewing this nonsense, you know it's a cult mentality in Hollywood, period.
Yeah, and so as you can see right here, Bailey promises that her Ariel is more nuanced. They're gonna fix it, guys. Disney's gonna fix how bad they were before. They're gonna do that by virtue signaling, by race swapping people to show they're not racist, and they're gonna do it by changing the stories to show they're not sexist. Quote, I'm really excited for my version of the film because we've definitely changed that perspective of just her wanting to leave the ocean for a boy. It's way bigger than that. It's about herself, her purpose, her freedom, her life, and what she wants. As women, we are amazing. We are independent. We are modern. We are everything and above, she continues. And I'm glad that Disney is updating some of those themes. Now, keep in mind, we've heard the same things from Rachel Zegler, who is going to be the race swap Snow White for Disney very soon, about how they're changing that story. So it's not so much about men, and it's more about female empowerment. This is Disney. This is what they've decided to do. These live action soulless remakes are starting to get inundated with identity politics, and people are rejecting them. And if what we've seen is any indication of like kind of the normie, because I'm telling you, we don't have, millions of viewers on this channel, right? We got 350,000 subscribers, right around there, something like that. We don't have millions of people that are going and disliking these things.
No.
Those are normal people that are seeing this thing and being like, wow, we don't fucking like this. We don't want this. And we're not going to support this. Disney's in for a rude awakening when this thing hits the box office.
Yep. It's going to be bad. And we're here for it. I can't wait. The more they talk, the more money that I see myself making off of this trash fire. And I welcome it. Keep running your mouth. Keep talking about it. And we're going to keep monetizing it and taking full advantage of it. Now, I do have a quick sneak peek. All right. I don't want to spoil the film for anybody, but I have a quick clip of The Little Mermaid. You guys want to see it in the chat? All right. This is really good. This is a real scene from The Little Mermaid. All right, here we go. Damn! And that's exactly what you're going to get with this movie right there. Holy shit. It's going to be so bad. We're going to
look more like Melissa McCarthy than Ariel, though, except for the skin tone. But yeah, and you're talking about when you look at these people who are coming out and speaking these things, Halle Bailey is like 22 or 23 years old. She has no fucking life experience, right?
No.
And she's coming out like declaring these things. Disney's fixing this. This is the fucking these are TikTokers, basically. Same with Rachel Zegler. She's like 23 years old, some shit like that. Like, and they're going to torpedo these remakes because they can't keep their fucking mouths shut.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's going to keep it's only going to get worse. And again, like right now, we talked about it yesterday. We talked about the Mario movie, and look how much attention I got off of, my criticism of that Peach scene. I stand by everything I said, and as I said in my video or in our live stream yesterday, now that I've seen more footage from it, I'm not worried about that anymore. I mean, I just, you know, it still could turn out to be woke. I just don't think that's going to happen, but we call it like we see it. This Little Mermaid project has been DOA from the beginning, and they've just made it worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse as time has gone on. So it's like anything else. I talked about this with Top Gun Maverick. There's a lot of people that were not looking forward to Top Gun Maverick before it came out. And I don't think that that's necessarily the wrong approach. I remember we did a poll on Friday Night Tights. I can't remember. I think it was like 30 or 40% of people said they were interested in seeing Maverick before it came out. Now, obviously, movie came out, blew everybody's mind. Was that toxicity? Was that toxicity that was facing the movie? All you people were prejudging this movie before it came out. No, that was people having their own opinion. They were sharing that opinion. The movie came out, and a lot of people enjoyed it. So word of mouth started spreading, and all of that negativity suddenly went away because a good movie came out. Tom Cruise opened the movie by saying, hey, I really appreciate all of you, yada, yada, yada. You setting a good tone because he kind of understood the climate of current Hollywood. So I'm so tired of this. Give it a chance bullshit. No, nothing deserves a chance from Hollywood. Nothing deserves a chance. They have to earn. They have to earn your money. They have to earn your fandom. They don't deserve shit. So no, I reject that premise completely. Hollywood deserves nothing. They have to earn it. And if they can't earn it, then they don't deserve it.
I wanted to point this out. Shout out Epic Verse. Yo, the fuck? The horse too?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's great. That is great.
Yeah, I didn't notice that in the trailer. But there you go.
Oh, that's awesome. That is good right there. I dig it.
Yeah, the Little Mermaid is it's the gift that keeps giving for me, but they are not doing themselves any favors. Callum for $2. Why does it take so long to make a Diablo game? I don't know. They're typically they're obviously focused on other stuff at Blizzard probably, but I mean, let's not pretend there wasn't a big gap between Diablo 2 and 3 either. You know, Diablo 2 came out in were you a big Diablo guy, Jeremy? I think Diablo 2 came out in 2000 or 2001.
I never played Diablo.
Right around then. So there was over a decade gap between it and Diablo 3, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, another decade plus between Diablo 3 and Diablo 4.
Yeah, I was never into those games. So not for me. We did get 5 gifted memberships from Mage Demon. 5 gifted Geeks and Gamers memberships. Thank you, Mage Demon. That is awesome. And again, this show every day, Monday through Friday, you guys have shown up every single show so far. Really appreciated. And it means a lot. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget Tuesday night's main event tonight. It's gonna be a banger tonight. We got a lot to talk about, and it's gonna be fun. And Ryan will be there to read super chats as always.
Yeah, I can't wait. Mage Demon for 5. Following on to his old McDonald, had a cow with a moo here and a moo there. I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. Well, that one's kind of tough. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause. No, if you're a Pokemon fan, you can't not sing that one. And another $5. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Teach Pokemon to understand power that's inside. Pokemon, gotta catch them all. All right. Thank you.
Oh, man.
Demo purposes only. For $5. Stupid joke for you guys. Was sentenced to community service in court, but it was for the LGBTQ plus community. My nickname was Scared Straight. There you go.
Hell yeah.
For demo purposes.
Hell
That's
yeah.
good.
So I actually talked to Craig this morning. We're starting Craig. That's a side scrollers meme, but we're gonna have to reschedule. He had something come up that was going to interfere with it. So
got another DSP interview.
Got another DSP interview.
No.
But yeah, we'll get Craig on.
Bruce for $10. Popcorn money for Jeremy when he goes to see The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, let's go. What's up, Bruce?
Marcus for €5. If you can make a movie, what would be your genre, director, actors, composer? Jesus. Jeremy's would be Christopher Nolan.
Did he say action movie though?
If you
Or
can
did he
make
just say
a movie.
A movie, okay. A movie. I mean, obviously Christopher Nolan. Like essentially just take a Christopher Nolan project. I mean, Hans Zimmer's gonna be Hans Zimmer, Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan. Basically The Dark Knight, okay? That's essentially the movie I would make, The Dark Knight. Actually, probably Batman Begins because Bale's Batman voice is significantly better in Batman Begins than The Dark Knight. Even though I think Dark Knight's slightly better movie, I think Batman Begins is the better Batman movie. So,
I guess I would have to go. I want something with Tom Cruise in it. All right, before he dies, I want another action movie with 60-year-old Tom Cruise. Composer. I mean, Hans Zimmer is fucking excellent. It's hard to not go with also the great John Williams before he fucking dies.
mm-hmm.
Somebody said this the other day. It's like every time they see like a couple people like their name trending, they just think they're dead now. Like John Williams is one of those. James Earl Jones is one of those. They just keep living. So James, how old is James Earl Jones now?
I don't even know. He's got to be. Is it got to be 80s? Maybe.
He's got to be like 90, right? James Earl Jones, age 92.
Woo! Damn.
And people apparently also search for Arsenio Hall. He's 67, according to Google. Holy shit.
Now, in terms of like what I would want Nolan, I'm at a point where I want Nolan working on his original stuff. I don't want him getting involved in pre-existing worlds or anything like that. So I don't want him working on Star Wars. I don't want him working on Marvel or DC. He's done his Dark Knight trilogy. It's fantastic. I love it. I'd rather him just make stuff like Inception or Interstellar. That would be what I would prefer.
Still haven't seen Interstellar.
Fucking
you guys wasted 3 hours watching it.
No,
I was doing something else.
Greatest movie ever made.
I mean,
okay, my favorite.
You love it.
It's not the greatest. It's not the greatest, but it's my favorite.
You love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's your favorite movie, period.
It's my favorite movie. The best movie is Return of the King. That's the best movie ever made. But Interstellar is my favorite.
Okay. Michael Vick would be a great Pokemon trainer. You know, I've always said that the entire idea of Pokemon is very fucking morbid, right? You're going around the world, you're finding these creatures, and you're capturing them against their will. And then you force them to fight each other to the death. Like, Michael Vick would be a great Pokemon trainer. Like, you are capturing slaves to fight in a gladiatorial pit for you. That is the entire premise of Pokemon. And for anybody that thinks it's a little bit gay, just think of it that way, all right? And then go and play Pokemon. You'll get much more enjoyment. I did want to talk a little bit about Shazam. I got to pull up Zachary Levi's Twitter thread to do so, though. Because he's been going off.
Yeah, he has. He's had a few things to say. He said he's a likable guy, but he's been talking a lot on Twitter. And I get it, man. Your movie sucks. At least it flopped anyway. I don't know if it sucks, but it's, it's not doing well. And it's clear that he's not going to be returning in this role. I don't think he ever was, outside of the fact that, if this movie did $1 billion, I guess he probably could have returned under those circumstances. But even still, I don't think that there was really any realistic scenario where he was going to come back, because James Gunn clearly has his vision for what he wants to do.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And as we discussed on Friday, and as we again discussed yesterday, the Shazam box office is a complete catastrophe for Warner Brothers, following up to the Black Adam failure, which failed to reach $400 million worldwide, which lost money for Warner Brothers, a failure for DC. Now Shazam 2 is the second consecutive flop for them, making only $30 million opening weekend, a big drop off from the first one. Internationally is even worse news for them. and it is officially the lowest DCEU opening of all time, with the exception of the ones released on HBO Max at the same time. And in the wake of this, we've seen a couple people associated with this movie speaking out on social media. You've seen Zachary Levi. It seems like he's almost going with the like relentless positivity thing and like being like overly positive and overly, I love everybody, and addressing some of his detractors and some of the people that hate it, and Snyder fans and things like that. Like, it's clearly, I get it. I think it is a cope for him a little bit, but he's probably frustrated with the performance of the film. You've got David Sandberg, who's the director, who made a Reddit comment saying, yeah, I kind of expected the box office was going to go that way because it was trending this way for a while. He comes out with a statement that then gets kind of twisted into, is he going after fans? What exactly is he saying? He starts off by saying, hey, I got my lowest critic score, but my highest audience score. It's a shame more people aren't seeing it because I think it's a good film. But for a while now, I've been saying I want to get back to horror and get out of superheroes. Just to be clear, I don't regret for a second making it. But one thing I've really been looking forward to is disconnecting from the superhero discourse online. A lot of that stresses me out so much. And it will be nice not having to think about that anymore. That kind of got twisted into a little bit. He goes after the fans. And he follows that up by saying, hey, they twisted this, but I have it pretty easy. The most disheartening thing was seeing the comments on Leslie Grace's Instagram saying your movie got canceled. You're not my Batgirl. And this isn't limited to superhero fandom. It's just sad. So then he kind of doubles down a little bit on the fan behavior. Rachel Zegler also out there, who's your new race swap Snow White, saying that some people out there are just being senselessly mean and it's unnecessary. I know. If you can't handle the heat and all that, and you're right. But our film was actually very good. It's just cool to hate on fun nowadays. That's okay. We're good. They are making this worse for themselves, in my opinion.
To me, what he was saying was a big giant cope is what that was. That's what that was. That was a cope. I hate this bullshit about like, well, for a while now, I've been thinking about, no, the fuck you haven't. You literally, if this movie would have made $800-900 million, you'd be signed on for the next one. If James Gunn was calling and had you in the middle of, some giant DC storytelling project, you'd be right there. So why? Just who cares, man? Like, okay, your movie sucked. Okay, it didn't make money. It's not really his fault per se. I don't blame him as much as it's just the landscape of DC right now. But just I'm so tired of the like weak. These motherfuckers are weak. Okay, they are weak. If you can't handle superhero discourse online, don't become a sports fan. Don't ever become a sports fan, because this is nothing compared to what sports fans do. There is nothing you can do as a sports fan to not get shit talked every step of the way. And that's just how it is. Don't become a video game fan either, by the way. Good Lord. All you do is get roasted as video game fans. That's what we do. We roast each other all the time. So this bullshit about discourse online, whatever. It's online. It's the internet. People talk shit. That's what happens. You make something people like, you get praised. You make something that people don't like or it doesn't do well, you get roasted. It's the internet. It's the end of the discussion. This online discourse bullshit. Really? Do you feel bad for Donald Trump and the way he's treated online? I doubt that. Yeah. I doubt that very much. So it's not really about discourse online. You're just being a pathetic beta. And I don't like his comments. I think they come off very thin-skinned, and he's maximum copium. And again, it's not really his fault, but he's trying so hard to justify it.
Yeah, and like the insistence that, hey, we made a good movie, right? That's the thing that's coming out from all these guys. Hey, we made a good movie, and it's sad other people can't see it. To be fair, people that have seen it it's not like they've been bashing it, right? It's not like they're saying it's horrific, but nobody's going to see it. No one's interested in seeing your movie. And I can't wait. I hope Rachel Zegler continues to speak out about this, for someone who had a little role in Shazam. because I can't wait for your role in Snow White and how much you're going to be fucking running your mouth and how bad it's going to make it for Disney and for that movie. That's going to be glorious. But it's a failure. And, you know, maybe David Sandberg is saying, you know, for a while now, maybe it means since James Gunn took over and he realized that his fucking franchise was dead. I don't know. But there's a lot of problems at DC. This is the culmination of almost a decade of mismanagement at Warner Brothers. And there's no future now for Zachary Levi or for Shazam going forward in James Gunn's DCU. And they're doing their best to cope with that and lashing out a little bit, not necessarily. And I don't take that to be like super hardcore lashing out at fans, not like we've seen from other shit, at least when it comes to the director. But you can tell he's a little bit salty and sad that his movie is failing.
And just so I want to show you this, we do have some Monday numbers for Shazam right there. So Shazam 1.7, Scream 1.4, Creed 1.2, and then it says for those keeping track, the OG Shazam scored 3 million on its first Monday, so it's down almost 50%.
It's right in line with that 44% drop off, essentially.
Yep.
But yeah, the fact that Scream is tracking at 1.4, Scream might have a better next weekend than it if that continues.
Oof, just not good at all. So yeah, those comments though, I didn't like those comments. I think those comments were really pathetic.
All right, where am I? Let's hit some of these super chats. Blake Barrett for $5, upgrade to a large popcorn. That was from adding on to Bruce's there. $15, it's about what it takes. Mage Demon for $2. Hell yeah. Ariel in blackface. This will stop racism. JC Diva, member for 11 months, says, yeah, they kept Eric White. The princess can't be black. Princes can't be black. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because they're trying to lecture you about it. It shouldn't be all about the man. She's going to leave him because he's white. Gene the Book for $2. DreamWorks trolling Disney with their parody. I did see that Kraken, that teenage Kraken movie where they have kind of like a Ariel archetype as a mermaid. Carlos Estrada for $2. Once you go black, yeah, you don't live past. Yeah, thank you. Super Sentai guy for $2. What the fuck is DSP's problem? He's a professional victim, if anything. Yeah, he's a professional victim. But that's about all he is. E1337 Neo for $5. Diablo 1 came out January 1997. Diablo 2, June of 2000. Lord of Destruction expansion a year later. Diablo 3 came out May 2012. Reaper of Souls expansion March 2014. Yeah, so there's a lot of gap between those, especially after 1 and 2. There's not too much, but 2 to 3 and now 3 to 4. Bashy Washy for 20. I need a hijab mermaid with a Prince Ahmed, or I can't see myself in there. Hail chat. Hail Ryan and Jeremy. Ryan, I know you love Pokemon, but come one sober gay Ryan is not cool. What can I say?
Mage Demon gifted 10 more Geeks and Gamers memberships. Thank you. Hell yes. The gift and membership stuff is just, it never gets old, man. So we have 16 new members now as we speak. That is awesome.
DDK for 2. We're taking the homies to Isengard. GG. Whiskey One Eye for 5. Speaking of Chris Nolan, you guys excited for Oppenheimer with the cast? They should have a big bang in the box office. I have no idea what it's going to do in the box office, but I can say that it looks really interesting, and I'm excited to see it.
I can't see it doing less than 500 million. I think that's the bare minimum it makes. I mean, Nolan typically, what's its face? His last movie, which I don't like.
Tenet.
Yeah, Tenet. Tenet came out at a really weird time with pandemic and all that crap. It's really hard to gauge what that film would have done in a normal setting. So I think Oppenheimer. I don't think Oppenheimer has $1 billion written all over it because I don't see it being that type of film. And it
seems a little bit too slow for the vast majority of people to for $1 billion film at least.
And it doesn't have like Inception had Leo, so obviously he's a big box office pull. Interstellar had, Matthew McConaughey, which that was both of those films. That was Matthew McConaughey's biggest film ever, and I believe outside of Titanic, wasn't that Leo's biggest movie, Inception, I think. But either way, I
Probably.
mean, those are big names. Those are big names. Cillian Murphy or Killian Murphy, however you say his name. Like it's not a box office draw at all. But he's the star of the
No.
movie. It's got a
He is
great cast though.
but he's a well-respected like actor.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
But yeah, he's not a big draw, but he's well-respected as an actor. This could end up being like, award worthy for him.
Yeah, 100%. So
guess
I
a
do
lot of
think the
people
movie,
feeling.
the movie's going to do well. I just don't think it's going to be like it's not going to be a huge like transcendent success. I don't think, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it as well. Beach Lover for 5. Thank you for making this daily show. I really enjoy it. Hey, glad you guys are loving it. Kevin Calderon for 5. I guess Rachel Zegler wasn't good enough for a live action Elena of Avalar. I guess not. Mage Demon for another $10. Pokemon, huh? Well, see you later.
See you later.
You're the one that fucking typed it, motherfucker. For the Emperor for 10, Ryan, sing the entire Pokemon song. I sang enough of it. I sang enough of it for the Emperor.
Oh man.
Yeah, and Oppenheimer only has $100 million budget as well, as compared to, Tenet was $200 million. A lot of his stuff before has been pretty high budget. So Oppenheimer's not that way.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's why I'm a huge fan of Nolan, the practical effects side of things. And yeah, I have full faith that this movie is going to be really good. Tenet's probably my least favorite Nolan movie. I think there was some cool stuff within it, but the sound design was fucking horrendous in that movie. Horrendous sound design. Like probably the worst sound design I've ever seen. And Nolan, that's a kind of a common trait with him, and it's gotten worse and worse. I feel like it started with The Dark Knight, maybe Inception, but it's like right around in there is where I remember there was just like dialogue you couldn't hear, and it happened in Interstellar, it happened in The Dark Knight Rises, and then Tenet, it just went to a whole different level. Like the sound design was bad.
I don't really understand. I feel like I thought it was maybe a problem with me for a long time. I feel that way about a lot of more modern day shit, whether I'm watching on a streaming service or whatever, that sometimes the dialogue or sometimes the sound balance is way off. Like if it's an action sequence, it just gets so fucking loud that I have to like turn it down and then I have to turn it back up when dialogue happens, to the point where I just turn closed captions on everything. I'm like a deaf fucking person. So I don't know. But I used to just think it was me. Now I just think it's a more common thing in Hollywood nowadays.
Yellow Flash says Dark Knight Rises was bad. Admit it. Dark Knight Rises is definitely a major step down from Dark Knight and Batman Begins, and it's gotten worse over time as well. It has not aged well. I still love the film, but it's definitely the worst of the trilogy, and it's gotten worse over time for me. The more I think about it, the more I watch it, because I fucking loved it when it first came out. The more I've watched, the more I've kind of just thought about it. There's a lot of problems in that movie. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of dialogue problems. There's just a lot of cringe stuff. So I acknowledge there's a ton of problems in that movie. Still love it to death, though.
Yeah, I remember the fucking hype for that was insane.
Yes, it was
insane. That was like, I feel like that was a year where a lot of big movies came out, like within a couple months of that. And I remember going to the theaters with my buddies, and it was fucking crazy.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
All right, Ruthie for 2. Ryan, what do you think of Adam Driver's new movie? I haven't seen it, Ruthie.
65, is that it?
Yeah. It's bombing at the box office, unfortunately. E113 Neo for 3. Now do the pokey rap. I'm not doing the pokey rap, guys. All right. Mage Demon for another 10. Dude, you fuck. I'm not even gonna sing it because you guys are just gonna fucking. It's you and me. I know it's my destiny. Pokemon. Oh, you're my best friend. In a world we must defend. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em, heart so true. Our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon. That's it. And then
The
another
fact
5
that-
gift subs from Mage Demon.
The fact there was only a $10 super chat makes it even better.
Well, and I added a little bit on because I couldn't just end it there. But
Oh man.
Ryan is a man of the people. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Shout out to our Rumble audience. You probably don't like this, but hey, 670 people watching us over on Rumble. We appreciate it, guys.
Woo. Holy shit, that was good. That was good. Dan
right.
Vasque has some competition, everybody. So thank you for the gifted memberships. Thank you for the super chats. Again, great having a great audience over on Rumble. And as always, YouTube, we pushed 1850 today again. So this show just keeps doing really well. We do have Hailstorm says he's happy, so he's got some clips now. I wonder if that's gonna be part of main event's opening tonight. So I don't know.
Not.
We'll see.
I did want to go to Shadow
Shit.
Dragon
Yeah.
here. Excited to see you guys at MegaCon in 11 days. Yes, Geeks and Gamers will be at Orlando MegaCon April 1st, Saturday, April 1st at 2:30. We're doing a panel there. We hope to see a lot of you guys there. It'll be fun. So
Yeah, I hope more than
come.
5 people show up. We'll see. I hope more than 5 people show up. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah,
that'll suck if it's only like 5 people.
that's true. There's no doubt. But all right, we're all caught up, Jeremy.
All right, so another one in the books, Geeks Gamers Daily. Thank you guys so much for all of the support and for being here. Tuesday night's main event tonight here on the Geeks Gamers channel. A lot of uploads, so there's not going to be any notifications tonight by the time Tuesday night's main event gets here. So keep that in mind. I've got a lot of videos to upload in terms of yesterday's clips and today's clips. So not going to be no notifications. I'll push that out to all of the different social media platforms, though, to make sure you guys know. But Tuesday night's main event tonight, gonna be a banger. Let's go. All right, so thank you, Ryan. Thank you, chat, and thank you for all the support. We appreciate you guys. Have a great day, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.